What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Trinity Wolf, and well, today we've got something quite different than what we normally would. We have a deck profile for Vanquished Soul. Now, normally, as you guys know, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX guy. I play nothing but I play Ancient Gears, Heroes, Crystal Beasts. We just play Yu-Gi-Oh! GX stuff. So having this is just, a little something fresh, something different, just to already answer some of those questions for you guys. Is this going to stop any hero content? Of course not. This is Trinity Wolf we're talking about. We're talking about me, you guys. You really think I would just give up heroes just like that? No. I just wanted to just play something different for this format, and also just because how crazy Vanquished Soul is for particular matchups for this format. Absolutely insane. And then being able to play just certain hand traps like Shifter. It just easily just destroy a lot of decks right now. But I just wanted to play something different for this format, just to, not make me lose passion for the game. I mean, obviously I love playing heroes, I love doing all that, but it gets to a point where you just kind of struggle too much with a particular deck when things just keep constantly changing. So just being able to just try something different every time maybe the format changes. Plus, I just wanted to see what it was like. But I know I'm just rambling on, you guys, but a lot of you guys are really just here for the hero content, and I understand that because that's what the thing is here. That's the main deal. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have for just announcements. So if you are new to the channel, please destroy that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up for me, and then also the notification bell so you know when I upload and also when we do live streams. But without further ado, you guys, let's just go ahead and jump into this Vanquished Soul deck profile. Alright, of course, starting off, it's going to be triple copies of Raisin. Obviously the best start of the entire deck. Seeing this card and resolving this card pretty much is going to win you the game. Seeing this card is just literally the best thing that you could possibly open them up with. So there'll never be a time where you play less than 3. You will always have to play 3. But what we do play 2 of is Dr. Madlove. At a certain point, you will run out of names for the spells and traps to add to your hand. So I don't want to see Madlove too much. But I think 2 copies is perfectly fine. And then of course we have the 1 Pantera just for the Earth name, and also people always forget about the destroying spells and traps, and also just not being able to be destroyed about. Even though it's not the craziest Earth monster in the deck, it's just still good to be able to have a name that you can search for that's also an Earth. Triple copies of Borgir. Best card to just really get advantage over your opponent. Being able to burn for 15, pretty much almost 3k every 2 turns. Absolutely insane. And then drawing into more disruptions against your opponent, or potentially more Vanquished Soul names as well. And then 2 copies of Caesar. Boss monster of the deck. You need to reveal 3 attributes in order to pretty much use the pop effect, which is probably the best effect that he has. He's being able to non-target destruction against your opponent, which is very, very useful. And then of course we got 2 copies of Yugioh. Absolutely love this card. I love that it just gets to special itself for free, basically, just because you're literally playing the deck. The only thing with the Yugioh, I just honestly wish the adding wasn't 2 fires, because it's just okay, well, this is on the field now. If you don't have just Raisin in your hand, what other fire attribute are they expecting you to really have? 2 Raisin, an Ash, or maybe another Yugioh in your hand? I don't really know what they're expecting you to have, but who knows? The deck will probably always get more support, but I wish it would have said maybe Fire, Dark, or just because most of the time you're always going to see a Dark. But anyway, that is it for our Vanquished Soul engine. Now for our hand traps. Obviously, if you can play the card, you play the card. So triple copies of Dimension Shifter. This card completely just ruins a lot of graveyard players' days. Craps on a lot of cards in the meta right now. It's just being able to just stop people from sending anything to the graveyard is absolutely insane. Especially when people go, draw phase or standby phase, they're doing their wanted plays. This literally just completely craps on that. And then it's just such a powerful card. And then also due to the fact that it's also a dark, You can, you stake your soul, get a dark, or even if you've already used one and then you just kind of have one just sitting in your hand, you still have at least a free dark to be able to reveal. And then if you have things like Small World, easily being able to get rid of this card and getting something else out of it. So triple shifter, 2 copies of Fenrir. I'm gonna have an updated deck profile with this eventually once I really just figure out how I really want to play this deck. But just to let y'all know what basically I'm playing now, this is why we're doing this deck profile today. 2 copies of Fenrir. In all honesty, I would play 3, but I just really didn't feel like spending all that extra money on the 3rd one. Plus, I thought about playing 2 copies of Fenrir with 2 copies of Pankratops, and I just didn't want to flood the deck with too many Earth targets. And then, of course, 2 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I mean, not 2 Ash Blossom, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Fire Attribute, and just one of the most powerful hand traps in the game still to this day. And yeah, I am not playing the Kashtira Ice Heart. I know it's good to have the fire name, but at the same time, I really don't feel like adding a card to my hand that's not going to do anything. So hopefully you guys can understand that. Like, I really just don't want to have a card in my hand that's just practically going to be useless. I know I can do some XCs summoning with it, but I don't want to get locked into XC summoning either. I'm just preventing as many like awkward situations as possible. But that was it for our monsters. Now onto our spells. Obviously, we're going to start off with the best card in the entire deck. Stake Your Soul. Obviously, just revealing an attribute and special summoning one with a different name, especially if you're, revealing a, Vanquish Soul monster. Special one Vanquish Soul with the same attribute, but a different name. And of course, for more consistency, triple Pot of Prosperity. Because this deck is just so light with the extra deck, only one monster in your extra deck is really the most important. That's Rock the Vanquisher. So you literally just have like 12 free extra deck space. So obviously playing Pot of Prosperity is the best thing for this deck. Being able to dig into your deck, being able to grab Raisin or just any way to get to him, or just anything you're missing, or even the one of Tikaboo. Pot of Prosperity is amazing. Don't know why they didn't honestly hit this card on the ban list, but anyway, for even more consistency, to see Raisin, 1 Durendal and 1 Reinforcement of the Army. And then I like playing 1 Small World. I don't really like Small World as much just because I really just don't like banishing my resources along with other names that I might potentially have in my hand or the deck. So 1 Small World, just because. I just thought of, just going with everything of 3s. 3 Stake Your Souls, 3 pots, and then 3 ways to being able to get anything else I need. So that's it for my consistency slots. Obviously, we got 1 Continue, 1 Dust Devil, and then for disruptions for our opponent, we're playing 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Triple Tactics Talent, and funny enough, this one actually came up quite a bit, and it's kind of funny. 2 copies of Sales Ban. Being able to just call any card name and, just being able to just stop any annoying cards that you don't want to deal with is actually very, very cool, and it came up so many times. Especially if I knew I really need Raisin to go off. I could call things like, Imperm, Ash, Joel and Lockbird, just any kind of problematic card I can think of, or even one that I know they have on the field or their hand, just being able to call that name and not allowing that to activate this turn at all. Came up quite a bit, so I really like testing out the Sales Ban. So I highly recommend y'all at least try it out. I really enjoyed using Sales Ban. And then last for the disruptions, obviously because I'm playing 2 Super Poly. I figured I'd play 3, but due to the fact that I'm just drawing so much and having Pot of Prosperity, I'm going to see the Super Poly at one point, and I don't want to break my hand with having too many copies of it, especially if I'm playing a matchup where Super Poly might not come up too crazily, but having as many Super Poly targets in the extra deck, just due to the fact that you can just throw anything in there, we're always going to at least have some kind of target for Super Poly. And then last but not least, for traps, 1 Tikaboo with 1 Snow Devil. I figured even though it's at 1, if you see it, you see it. I mean, why not? You know what I'm saying? if you have a deck where you can play a Floodgate in it, even though it might be at 1, just play it. You never know. Even though I really plan on going second with this deck, if I do end up going first, Tikaboo is really good. Or after you just break their board completely and then they're trying to just recover and you flip this over on them, it's just over. And then last but not least, 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Alright, on to our extra deck. Of course, we have obviously triple Rock the Vanquisher. I'm starting to see people play this at 2 just from other lists I've seen. I don't know why. There's so many games where it came up to where I needed to summon every single one of them. And I don't want to put myself in an awkward situation where it's like, man, I could really use the Rock of the Vanquisher. Too bad I'm only playing 2. So, no. This is the most important card for the deck. So I don't see why you wouldn't play triple copies of Rock the Vanquisher. And then, of course, we got a small Nightmare package, Cerberus, Unicorn, and Phoenix, along with an access code talker and an SP Little Knight for our links. Next, for our Super Poly targets, we got the Starving Venom, Garura, Dragostapelia, and then, of course, Mud Dragon of the Swamp. And then last for our deck, we got Xyz monsters. We got Abyss Dweller, Baguska, the Typhon, and obviously the Divine Arsenal double A Zeus. That's it. Alright, you guys, that was it for the deck profile for Vanquished Soul. I'm still, just kind of testing out the deck, wanting to see how I kind of want to build this in particular. But also, if you guys have any comments and any kind of key tech cards that you think would be really interesting for me to try out in Vanquished Soul, or just maybe that have worked out for you if you've ever played this deck, let me know down in the comments section below. I'd really like to listen into those key points and just, maybe testing out something a little different, or because I'm just still trying to figure out this deck. Obviously, I've played it before with, if you guys watch my live streams with, Master Duel and playing Vanquished Soul. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have. So if you enjoyed this deck profile, yet again, let's just hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe today if you are new, and I will see you guys